If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another album review for you guys. But before we get started, quick reminder that I am currently doing a giveaway right now on the YouTube channel. Once I hit 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away six CDs that I had left over from the collection. The way to enter the giveaway, in the description box there will be a video that you should click on that's titled 4,000 subscriber giveaway announcement. Leave a comment in that video and you're automatically entered in the giveaway. I'll put all the commenters into like a random name picker, pick the name that way, and you win the CDs. But yeah, that's just a reminder. But now let's get into the actual album review. And today I'm talking about the debut offering from a sort of supergroup, and that is Dieth with To Hell and Back. So this came out also on June 2nd on Napalm Records, and well, I said it's a bit of a supergroup. This features, I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce his last name, but his first name Michael, who was the previous drummer for Decapitated, Guilherme Miranda on guitars and vocals, formerly of Entombed AD, but the big man in this band, the one and only David Ellefson, formerly of Megadeth, on bass, the original bassist of Megadeth. So yeah, pretty much this is David Ellefson's thing now after getting the boot from Mustaine back in 2021 over some differences between the two, not so much about anything else that happened afterwards, which, by the way, who gives a shit anymore? It's whatever. And besides, I'm glad Ellefson is back up on his feet and kicking ass again. So yeah, a supergroup called Dieth with these three gents, and talk about major age gap. Like, you got Ellefson, who's approaching 60, you got Guilherme, who's 36, and then Michael, who I believe is in his early 30s. So David working with some youngsters. Okay, maybe not super young, but still young. And of course, this is death thrash, which never thought I would hear David Ellefson do anything death metal oriented, even though this is more death thrash, like the hybrid of death metal brutality and thrash metal speed and aggression. And pretty much that is the mode on the majority of this album. It's all about finding that perfect balance between thrash metal aggression and death metal brutality. Right out of the gate with the title track, after a cool little acoustic intro into aggressive death thrash, we go furious riffs and beats, and pretty much like a lot of these songs kind of follow that formula, all about trying, like I said, to mix that death metal brutality with the thrash metal speed and aggression. Like the title track, Don't Get Mad, Get Even, has a little bit of that. Although I will say Don't Get Mad, Get Even has almost a little bit more of like a hardcore vibe. Like there's more hardcore elements going on with this track, and even some pockets of like hardcore groove on that song. Wicked Disdain was one of my favorites of the album, because while you get weird guitar effects at first, then that tone comes in blazing, thrash fury with the death brutality. There's even some cool death metal chugs that just scream death metal. It doesn't really scream thrash, it screams more proper death metal, as you get like fast double bass and some cool drum flourishes, even some death metal galloping breakdown, which is really cool. Like this track, I would say, is the most death metal centric track, whereas most of the others are all about mixing both death and thrash together. And even the first instance of blast beats, and there are some blast beat moments that show up here on Wicked Disdain, let's see, The Mark of Cain, and even in the Hall of the Hanging Serpents. Like, you get some blast beat moments that show up in there that just, again, feel more death metal. Free Us All is rather interesting track because you start off with this like really cool like jazzy bass line to start everything off. Massive death metal chugs. D beat stomp comes in, and you don't really hear a whole lot of D beats on this album. Like I said, it's mostly that like straight up Slayer beat or done even a little bit faster. But here's one of the only times where the D beat comes in. But you do get like an odd spoken word section. I almost thought, am I listening to Pickles the drummer from Metalocalypse Death Clock? Because kind of sounded like Pickles the drummer. And by the way, does anybody have any SPF 50? I'm very Irish American. Hope everybody got that reference. If not, shame on you. But anyway, so yeah, I thought I was hearing Pickles the drummer in the spoken word parts, which I thought was actually kind of cool, even if it's odd. But you even get like a jazzy breakdown that comes in that brings us into like blast beats and shred all over the place. Now we get into a couple of songs that I felt were very strange. Not to the levels of that new Avenged Sevenfold album of strange, but you'll understand what I mean. But yeah, the song Heavy as the Crown, this one almost feels like a straight up groove metal song. Apart from like a punky D-beat stomp towards the middle, or like the middle end of the song, this track certainly feels more like a traditional groove metal song. Like lots of Danzig, Black Label Society, Pantera I got on this track. And even the vocals were cleaner and just didn't quite fit for me, at least in my mind, at least compared to what we've heard so far on the album. This song definitely sticks out like a sore thumb because of the more groove metal approach. But that's nothing compared to the next track, Walk With Me Forever, which this song, big power ballad-ish track. Like, it's more dark and doom-laden for the most part. Like, it's really slow. And it's mostly all about suspenseful guitar melodies, like clean guitar melodies. And there are moments, now Gilherm doing clean vocals, I didn't think would happen, but turns out he's not a bad clean vocalist. Like, in the verses, when he's doing the lower cleans, they sound really good. It's just when you get into this, like, big chorus, whenever he's trying to sound a little more tuneful, it just didn't quite gel with me, at least in my opinion. But you do get a very beautiful lead. Now, if there is another big strength of this album, the lead work is filled with variety. Mostly shred, but you get some like taps, couple of squealy dive bombs, but a little bit of atmosphere can be heard here and there, but especially here on Walk With Me Forever, all about beautiful melody. But the song itself just doesn't quite fit on here. It's just, I don't know. But then we go right back to Brutality with Dead Inside, and this song stood out because this truly felt like a proper blend of thrash and death metal. Like that riffage that's going on here almost felt like a mix of Blood Red Throne and yet Testament at the same time. But absolutely incredible, brutal fucking song, one of my favorites. And even this opening riff on this track is very ballsy, and you get a tapping lead on top. The Mark of Cain, once again bringing in the blast beats, but this one has a lot of craziness going on. Like in the verses, you go from like blazing fast double bass, then in the blast beats with like tremolo riffs on top, and then leads back to like classic thrash beats. But cool drum flourishes in the chorus with the toms and the snare, harmonized lead, and then even a dissonant chugging breakdown at the end. In the Hall of the Hanging Serpents, which was the first single dropped for this album, has some more chugging thrash riffs, but not a whole lot of the thrash beats going on. Though you do get it in the beginning, but mostly this track has like big gang choruses, like gang vocals, cool breakdown, and a blast beat shredding lead section going on. And then Severance, the final track, which was the shortest at about 2.5 minutes, pretty much like a doomy, clean guitar song, and kind of a weird way to end the album. And that's kind of one of the complaints that I have about it. I wish this song could have been more in the middle, like the middle song to break up both the first half and the second half. And then, of course, those other two songs, like Heavy as the Crown being that more kind of groove metal, swinging song, and then Walk With Me Forever being a balladish track. Yeah, just those songs didn't fit. Severance, I don't mind being on here. I just wish they could have put that in place of Heavy Is the Crown and Walk With Me Forever as like the bridge song between the first and the second half. So yeah, it's just those two songs are really the big problem I have with this album. They just felt odd compared to everything else. Then the other slight complaint, the production. The mix, however, awesome mix. Like, every instrument is pretty well even. Like, the bass is very prominent. After all, when you have David Ellefson in a band, you have to have the bass be prominent. Otherwise, you're doing them a disservice. But the recording is off. I don't know if it was just the version I was listening to, but it sounded a bit muffled. I don't know how to describe it. It just felt like it wasn't as clear. I don't know. If somebody can tell me what that would be in a musical term, help me, because it's hard to describe. It's like not as clear. It sounds a bit muffled with the recording. But like I said, the mix. Hell of a mix for sure. So apart from those complaints, this was actually a pretty solid debut for this supergroup. I'm actually going to give this an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I score it the same as the Avenged Sevenfold album, although this one, I will say in comparison to that new Avenged Sevenfold, this one sounds more cohesive and not as over the top, like, I'm force feeding everything down your fucking throat, like, I'm gonna break your arm with an armbar because I'm Ronda Rousey and I'm in the Fast and Furious series with Vin Diesel and John Cena's Dom's brother. Are they even the same ethnicity? What ethnicity is Vin Diesel? Come here, you bastard! Sorry you had to hear that. But yeah, the point is, this album definitely has more cohesiveness to it, is the point I'm making. I'm just throwing in extracurriculars just to be stupid. But anyways, 8 out of 10 for this debut. Solid stuff. Hope we get another release from them, and hope that the recording quality is amped up a bit and work out some of the kinks. But of course, that's all just my opinion, and that is my review of the brand new Dieth album. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.